Hello everyone and welcome to 7 Years War 2. This is the sequel to 7 Years War, and once more the game tells the story of the Japanese invasions of Korea in the late 16th century. And this time we also have a third faction. We do have the Ming Chinese, in addition to the Koreans and the Japanese, represented by Crazy X-Person here. And each of the three factions does get their own campaign. We're going to start with the Koreans, then continue with the Ming, and lastly we're going to take on the Japanese campaign. His Majesty talked about preparing for war, so prepared we shall be. It is wise to strengthen the defenses of our country, but we do not have the support of the Ming dynasty. Do they not struggle with the conquest of the Yurkan people? I cannot imagine what the king will say. If we are to be able to fight against well-trained soldiers, we have to be prepared. Please give us your support. My lord, a large army has invaded Busan. What? Where the hell did they come from? What is our military doing to protect Busan? The enemy forces are powerful, their rifles are strong, and our army does not have enough to stop them. We have to stop the invasion, and if we have to send the entire army of Chosun. Your Majesty, they will reach Hansong before we can send soldiers south. Let us build a defensive line near the palace and break the momentum to buy us time. Hanoa, our military is ill prepared to face the enemy. Even if you make a stand now, the battle will be difficult. I'm going to ask you for your help now. General Kwon is right, but first of all it is important to stop the enemy's momentum. I will appoint Chosun Ryang as Supreme Commander. I will carry out your instructions. So this is the first mission, Foreboding, and our objective is to build a beacon mount and annihilate the enemy. And we also have to protect our hero units, Chosun Ryong and Kwang Yu. So here we go. Start with a neat little base here and our two hero units. You can clearly tell that they are the hero units because firstly they have levels and they are also about 12 foot tall. I mean, look how tall they are compared to these guys here. Now, this game is still a traditional base building real-time strategy game. So let's start getting some resources here. We have some juicy crops here, and we also let's build, how many workers do we want? Probably, let's just build a couple more. The game mostly gives you what you expect. It does look a little bit different, more or less. It does look a little bit more like Age of Empires now, with the isometric perspective, so copied that Blizzard game as opposed to Warcraft II. Well, not copied it. Gameplay wise this game is actually not too dissimilar to Starcaft. At least it does take some inspiration from that, but that's not really something I blame any game from, because Blizzard games are generally solid games. They're not my favorite, but a lot of people love them, and I'll definitely say they're good games. So the game does come with some new comforts. You can set gathering points for buildings, you can also assign groups and will be indicated which groups are what. And here are our basic units. We do have our heroes. This guy here is a caster, this guy here has a really big sword. These are like your general foot soldiers, guys with spears, guys with swords, guys with bows. And these are monks, so they are healers. We're not going to send them out just yet. And that's because we want to build a bunch of other guys first. Let's build just a bunch of soldiers. We have a number of resources. We do have food, we have wood, and we have money. So the system here was a little bit expanded. We also have upgrades here in these buildings. This is our HQ. This is like a storage building, and this is our barracks naturally. We also have this upgrade here. Unfortunately, oh, you can queue upgrades. I thought you could not, but I was wrong about that. So here we go. These guys here should be able to face these riflemen here. so not too much trouble. And yeah, the heroes they often have spellcasting abilities or secondary abilities. Many of them have a command aura of sorts. And yeah, you want to have some healers around because they can heal your units, and keeping your heroes alive is not only advised, but it's actually essential to winning the mission. So, but the heroes generally are quite sturdy, they have long health bars, so I wouldn't worry about them all that much. Let's get some more wood, because we have more wood than food at the moment. And are we still building more guys? Yes, we are. So you can build me some more stuff after we're done here. We do have some upgrades here for... Okay, I guess I don't have enough resource for that. I do not, I need more wood for that. That is fine. Yeah, my Korean is rather limited. I could sort of kind of translate the initial dialogue, which was very rough. It was also a little bit Starcrafty with the portraits popping up and stuff. Yeah, we've got two build menus here. This is the primary build menu. We do have a HQ here, which is surprisingly cheap. It's actually one of the cheaper buildings, interestingly. We do have the barracks here, and we do have our, I think that's either temple or the beacon mount. So I'm still learning with regard to this game here. I've played it a little bit just to get the hang of it up to a certain degree and to see whether it actually works, which it does, but I still have to... Oh damn it, so I didn't see that guy there. That is bad. So as you can see here, these resource packs here, that's something they retained from the first game, just like the day and night cycle. So you can collect these resource packs here, and they will give you whatever resources the worker unit had, which did initially. There we go. So we do have our radar now, so that's our beacon mount. And the beacon mounts are actually historical buildings, so the Koreans used those for signaling, so they were essentially an early modern radio tower, if you want to see it like that. So let's see what other buildings we have here. That's our temple, so we can build more of these priests here. This is generally recommended, so let's get some more upgrades. I'll be honest, I'm a bit stranded what a couple of these upgrades do, because they're just symbols and stuff, but at the same time they're upgrades, so I just assume they're good and roll with it. Come on, just stay and fight, please. Okay, you know you're cornered, so now you can't run. And now you don't even fight back for some... Well, I guess you're dead now, so... Everybody gather here. This guy here used to be a Japanese unit. The reason why he's now ours is because we can convert units. I'm not quite sure what the mechanisms behind that are, so I know the heroes obviously have special abilities, but I'm not quite sure. Oh wait, so that was the wrong building. So did I not try to build a temple here? I guess I didn't have the resource for that. And I do now. There we go, and now we are almost out of food, but that's okay, because we can collect some more here. Yeah, the game still strongly resembles the first game in a lot of regards, and if you played these base building RTS games before, you feel pretty much at home here. The Japanese have a couple of different units here. Overall the sides are more different now, and they have got these riders here. These seem to be samurai, or whatever term you would like to use here. So you are you low on health or on magic? You're low on health, so let's heal you. Unfortunately these guys here, they have so many hit points that healing them always drains the entire bar of whatever unit tries to heal them, which is of course good, because if they're weaker, then you wouldn't have an incentive to use them. And they do gain levels, so they do get stronger over time. So you can actually take over construction units from other sides as well, so you can build their stuff if you would like to do so. That is rather neat, and you can cure buildings, which I mean units, which is not buildings, so that's... what does that cost? That is rather pricey. So I think you should get me some crops here. I'm not quite sure whether this is more lucrative than... So the first game had rice and potatoes, so the rice was better, but at the same time potatoes would regrow, which was paramount to your success in later missions. So we do have a bunch of units here, but I want some units before March out, because I also need to protect my base, because destroying buildings is relatively easy, at least from what I recall. It seems to take a lot less time than it does in, let's say, Age of Empires. And there we go, out of resources again, but that's fine. So this first mission here eases you in a little bit, it's not too difficult. Overall the campaigns are shorter. The Chinese and... actually no, the Japanese and Korean campaigns have 8 missions each, and the Chinese campaign has 7 missions, but there's 3 campaigns now. And the Ming Chinese, which were featured in both War Diary and 7 Years War, War Diary and 7 Years War, have a common history because the teams partially overlapped, even though the games went into different directions later on. So, oh, you can try to crawl away, but you're not going to succeed. Oh, let's kill these guys here first. So let's... oh no, now you fight back. Yeah, and of course the Japanese still have... oh, come on, just die already, thank you. The Japanese have rifles. The Japanese received those rifles from the Portuguese initially, and at the time, especially after a lot of internal wars in Japan, arquebuses were actually one of the most common weapons in Japan, so that wasn't really a curiosity at the time, so they were quite common. And a lot of... in fact, at one point, Japan was the most heavily militarized country in the world with regard to rifles, so that is rather interesting if you ask me. So, build a bunch of these. Units are generally very cheap compared to upgrades and buildings. So, there we go. And... let's see what else we can do here. So you can still fix buildings by themselves, you don't need a worker unit for that, which is rather neat. And... so let's see, there we go. Oh, so more guys, that's fine. Yeah, this is essentially all we have to expect here. The Japanese are not going to really increase their attacks, and my heroes are gaining levels now, so that's pretty neat as well. So I think we can move out soon. We should have enough to go somewhere here, so let's just build a bunch more units, and those can fill the gaps left by my units here now. And there we go. So this guy is speeding ahead because obviously the mounted unit is quite fast. Even though this guy, compared to the horse, he looks so large that he seems to be more of like a donkey rider, but who am I to question that? If he is, then he's a fast donkey, so I'll take with that. So towers, nobody likes towers, so let's tear them down. Yeah, and those are these like working machines. They're essentially like workers but better for harvesting, that is. So of course the computer already has all that fancy stuff. So let's kill... I actually converted you, so there we go. I think it's just a random chance. I tried to trigger it in one way or another, but it just seems to be random. When I test played this mission, I actually took over one of the working units, so I could build all the Japanese stuff, which is kind of neat. But it's not really necessary from what I could see. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, so they're coming for me now. That's actually good, so it means we don't have to worry about defending my base. So let's kill you, please, and stab you. The riflemen are quite powerful, but once you're in range, they fall quite quickly. What? Oh, didn't see you there behind that tree. Yeah, one thing that bugs me a little bit about this game is that the resolution is really low. It's only 600 times 800, and that's a game coming from... that's a game from 2000. And it actually does have a lower resolution than the first game. The first game went up to 1024 times 768, so they lowered that, which is... come on, Amy, why do you do that? So also, I guess they took the resolution from Starcaft as well, which in my opinion is one of the worst aspects from that game, but that's just me. Look at that. That is, I think, an MCV, or just another construction unit. We'll see. Oh, look at that, some juicy logs. We'll steal those eventually. There we go. Let's snatch those logs. And there we go. So these ones here are quite easy to convert because they're quite strong. So there's a good chance that you're going to... let's just return home. There's a good chance that you're going to convert them before they die. So we can heal all of these guys here. The healers are really useful because they heal they heal quite fast, and they also recharge quite fast, so more so than in the first game. The first game the healers were still pretty useful for... So where are you? Oh, you're slowly getting through here, that's fine. Still pretty useful for certain tactical missions where you only had a limited amount of units. Here they seem to be way better in general. So my heroes also gain some levels, isn't that great? So you please get over here. Actually I'll change the group assignment here. Those priests should be group 2. So you need some healing, that's fine. And so do some of you guys, so please do that. They also auto heal when they're close to a unit, so that's nice as well. Don't think you can heal the MCV, thank you, because it's a machine. So let's build a Japanese HQ here, which I can, because I can. And then we can build Japanese technology, which we don't really need, but we may as well highlight that feature of the game, because why not? So I call this an MCV, I'm pretty sure it's not what it's called in this game here, but it may as well be one, so there's that. Okay, I think we're good now, so we can probably move out and step whatever we have here. So let's build some of these guys, just in case I send guys in the meantime. There we go. And then let's see where I guess the other enemy base either here or there, we'll see about that. So, those workers, oh, nothing to do, that's okay, you can harvest here. And you gather here just to protect those workers a little bit. And you can build me... Oh, you actually have access to all of these technologies, isn't that fancy? What are you doing there? I'm just killing my riflemen, that's fine. That's what I pay you for. Speaking of which, you do have a payment limit, which is essentially your pop limit. So let's kill this guy here first. Oh, and there is the witch again. We have the priest, the Japanese have the witches. Yeah, this game still isn't terribly positive in its portrayal of the Japanese, but it's not... I think it's not too bad, but considering the history of Japan and Korea, I think it's understandable that a lot of Koreans aren't really too keen on Japan, and there's a lot of cultural exchange obviously, but there's also some limitations to that in some regards. So there we go. And what do we have here? It's just some guys, or is it just do they have really a third base on this? That just seems excessive. Well, doesn't really matter now. There we go. Wow. And destroy these buildings, please. Boom. And kill this guy here, who's just accepting his fate. Yeah, a lot of these sprites have, or at least they kind of do, they kind of don't. Like have an outline, a little bit like Tiberian Sun Heals, a little bit strange at times, but nevertheless, like the art style here, this is quite charming. Some units look a little bit silly, obviously, because the hero units, they're super tall. They're like Warcraft II hero units. Boom. So there we go. Killed you successfully. So let's just gather the army here. Heal everyone up, especially our heroes, because the last thing I need now is lose a hero and lose the mission. And then we're good. Yeah, and these are the regrowing potatoes, that's good. I think it still depends on the weather when they regrow, which is kind of an interesting mechanic. I think it's also randomized. I don't think the weather had... heal this guy here first, because heroes have priority. You know what, just get over to this position here, then you should probably auto-heal most of these guys here. Yeah, there we go. Maybe heal this guy here. And there we go. Now you can retreat, and I'm going to create one big army here, and then I'm going to crush the remaining Japanese forces, like this tower here. Because we don't have the tower, the enemy will always have better stuff than we have. That's just how this game works. Except maybe in the final mission where I finally catch up. Even then they will just have more stuff if they don't have better stuff. Boom. And There we go. The towers aren't too tough. Still fairly annoying, but that's not too bad. And there we go. Victory. There we go. We won by score, obviously. And yeah, thanks for this. I think these are just the different scores, economic score, destroyed units and stuff like that. And I lead pretty much everywhere. Well, not quite actually. I guess that's probably units built. Doesn't really matter. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time in the second Korean mission. Take care and goodbye.